Welcome back to Batman Arkham Origins. We just saved the bridge. Even though it's kind of on fire and a mess and clearly not safe to go on, but we saved it.
We saved the city.
Also, Bullock, your face is terrifying.
It's not the same without the fedora and the trench coat.
Yeah.
Something tells me that if you hadn't given the bomb squad the breach order, the bridge would be at the bottom of the. Batman disarmed all the bombs. You fucking asshole.
All but one.
All but one.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait.
Gordon got the last one.
Oh.
Big on taking orders from cops. I should have gotten to that last bomb.
Yeah. And I should have given you access to that security door. But between the two of us, we covered it pretty well.
Better get used to this, James.
It begins.
Yeah. Although there is I forget which comic did it, but James points out, like, and he's looking, he has to go look up something to say, he doesn't know the name or something. He goes to look, he's like, and now's the part where you're gone, aren't you? Nope. Still here. Oh.
I like how in the animated series he does just disappear and there's never any explanation for it. Like they never show you how he does it.
Because he's Batman. Totally not Dad.
I should have eaten the ham. Why didn't I eat the ham?
How did Bane
Oh,
get
well,
in
at
here?
least it's not cold anymore.
How did Bane get in here?
Locked.
How did he find it?
He knows who Batman is.
How?
Well, I'd imagine you can get here through the manor.
Yeah.
So he went to the manor first, and then just, I don't know, probably sent his men down. I'm
Alfred.
pretty sure Alfred has a GPS locator, like, in case you lose your Alfred.
Well, you gotta watch out for those butlers. They're always wandering off.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Good grief.
Alfred.
Look at that cape. With detective mode, you can even see the rips in it more clearly. It's shredded. And you're gliding with it.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
you shouldn't be
Yeah.
able to fly.
Okay. Yeah. That's not happening.
I tell you, man, like, out of all the games, this game is the worst culprit of that shit.
Wait, I'm Chris Redfield. Why aren't I punching these bulls?
His cape is literally Swiss cheese right now.
See, this would mean something if this was the first game. But since, Asylum and City are already out at this point, we know he's alive, so...
Do we? He looks and sounds pretty different in those games. Maybe Bruce got a new Alfred.
This
What,
is
at the
Bat
Alfred store? My parents are
They're all
dead.
just hanging on coat hangers.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna punch Alfred at first with that. Like, I know
Yeah.
he's eventually going to use that as like a defibrillator.
That's actually not how defibrillators work, but whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna. What confused me at first looking at this is that, okay, I get what they're trying to do, but it's also like he was beaten to death. What the fuck would a defibrillator do?
Defibrillators, from what I understand, they're supposed to stop and reset a heart that's like screwy.
I
not
think the concept is that muscles are prompted to contract based on electrical impulses that are sent
From your nerves, yes.
from the nerves. Yeah. So you're basically substituting for the nerves and tricking the heart into beating. And if it
Well,
keeps
it's not so much tricking it into beating, it's to stop nerves from causing the heart to beat arrhythmically.
oh.
Because the shocking,
it's like
the
in
shocking
this
it
way-
isn't going to make the heart start
Yeah,
again.
and even then, he still has like big ass traumatic injuries, but now
Yeah.
the shock gloves are acting as if like a sort of cure all.
Oh, for a few seconds he just thought he was Cole McGrath. That's all.
Can't stop.
I never played Prototype.
I'm not really sure who on the Infamous development team thought, like, let's give this electrical superhero healing powers. I don't know how it works, but it's a thing.
Oh no, Joker. Joker took over the prison. He took over the place where they send mentally ill people.
Oh no,
So-
this is Blackgate. Blackgate is the other prison, the regular prison.
But yeah,
Okay, well, I'm just saying that Joker seems to be very good at taking control of places that are supposed to contain him.
well, to be fair, this is the first time anyone's encountered him, so they don't know that yet.
There's
So
a
did he, like, just get Harley to
Let him go. Yeah.
let him go, like, within the first time they talked?
Yeah.
Huh, okay.
Again, very accelerated. Like just for the sake of storytelling in this game.
Because
It-
I feel like that's something that would happen, like, over the course of her working with him over, like,
Well,
months.
in
does.
other continuities, it's weeks and months, and potentially
Yeah.
even a year.
yeah,
or two,
it's
but-
it's like
but in this one,
they-
it's just like an hour.
They kind of really did Harley Quinn character disservice by accelerating it so ridiculously in this game.
there wasn't really much an option, though.
Well, you could just not have Joker in here at all.
Well,
You know,
yes, but
you can have the game take place over a longer span of time, but then you'd have to undo all the Christmas stuff, wouldn't you?
yeah.
Not that they do much with it.
Well,
really.
it has to do with environment design.
I mean, I guess.
Because then you have to make like a winter version of Gotham and a summer version of Gotham, and
Not
yada, yada.
necessarily even a winter version or summer version. They could all be winter versions, but they very specifically made a Christmas version of Gotham. So,
Yeah. Arkham Origins is a Christmas game.
Yes. Play it after you watch Die Hard.
And Batman Returns.
Yes.
no, you gotta play Yakuza first.
Yakuza's longer though.
Nah, only if you're playing it a certain way. Like, Yakuza can be a 10-hour game or a 100-hour game, depending on how much completion you like to do.
You're not wrong. Yeah.
Thanks for your help.
Are you the Doublemint twins?
Oh, this is... Oh, it looked like Batman was doing a selfie there for a moment.
Prison Officer 47 to Captain James Gordon.
Man, Batman is really scratched up.
Yeah.
That is one cool thing about the armor aesthetic is that the scuff and scratch marks that accumulate throughout the game are quite nice. It's interesting to see how far we've come in terms of video game characters accumulating visual damage throughout the adventure. Because, like, when Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time came out, that was a pretty new thing. In fact, I think Prince of Persia was probably the first high-profile example, at least, of a game doing that, where
If it saw the light of day, Resident Evil, the original Resident Evil 2 as designed, would have had clothing damage.
yeah,
Excuse me.
I don't mean
Leon puts bandages over his clothes.
I don't mean like stuff that happens in gameplay. I mean like characters accumulating multiple levels of damage as the story progresses. Like Batman gets all these progressively like worse and worse rips and tears and scuff marks in the Arkham games. In Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, you would like lose a sleeve at one point, or like you take a bad fall toward the end of the game and you rip off what's left of your shirt and play the whole rest of the game
So something
shirtless.
so directly tied to the narrative progression.
Yeah, yeah.
Was what you're saying.
In Resident Evil 2's
Okay.
case, they do that, but they only do it once.
I will. Originally Resident Evil 2. Yeah. Classic RE2. Yeah, the bandages and all that.
Yeah,
I'm talking
originally
about
they were going to have like clothing damage that happened as in response
Yeah.
to gameplay,
in response to gameplay.
which is
and all,
really
yeah.
goddamn ambitious. But
Yes.
Well, there's a reason it didn't happen.
Do we have games that do that
But
nowadays?
hold on, you say Sands of Time though, or whatever Prince of Persia game you mentioned.
Sands of Time.
I
yeah.
want to say I forget. if
Those
it was,
mostly happen in like cutscenes and stuff. though.
Die Hard, the arcade game, or
Oh
was
my
it Die
God.
Hard trilogy?
Yeah.
You lost clothes the more you progress in the game.
Yeah, that's the game that they use the not John McClane for Project Cross Zone.
Yeah.
So you
The
can,
very
you
same.
have Sega Sanshiro and John McClane in the game together.
Oh man, the game suddenly just doesn't have enough room for the manliness.
I am surprised Sega's never made like even a jokey, minor Sega Sanshiro game. Just make it like even just making him like an extra character in a beat 'em up or something, just for shits and giggles.
There's probably
That'd be that'd be cool for Streets of Rage 4 as a $1 or $2 DLC character Sega Sanshiro.
there's probably some legal concerns with that guy, with that actor's likeness.
No, they have the character. He's in Project Cross Zone too.
There was a Segata Sanshiro game.
Ooh, let me guess, Japan only.
It is called, yeah, of course. Segata Sanshiro Shinken Yugi.
What?
From screenshots, I'm not looking at video. It looks like it's a side scroller beat 'em up.
That would make sense.
Is it on the Sega Saturn?
It's on the Saturn, yes.
Woo!
Brand is on point.
Man. Part of me can't believe that the Sega Saturn managed to be successful in Japan, but the other part of me gets it, because just the way Japanese gamers acclimated to 3D gaming compared to the way Americans did, it makes sense that they would have a more long-lasting preference to 2D games. And that also, applies to how
What is your glue floating on?
Glue.
water.
Oh, it's water. Okay. Okay, that watering layer was definitely not there after you...
Yeah, that was a bit weird.
Anyway, all I was saying was that, Japanese gamers ended up having a longer lasting fascination with 2D gaming than American gamers did.
They didn't catch on to 3D gaming very well.
Yeah.
In what sense? What do you mean?
They did not understand camera controls at all. So much so that's part of the reason why Spyro 1 in Japan is so ridiculously awful.
Ooh.
Because the camera moves, and Spyro moves slower in that as well.
Yeah, and they do try to do sometimes they do pre-render, like preset cameras, and it looks awful. They also just didn't care for 3D designed games very much. The most they would accept was they thought that Mario 64 was okay, but that's just because it's Mario and they just accept that. The most a lot of other franchises they would accept was Crash Bandicoot, where it's technically 3D, but it has a very 2D mindset behind it. 3D games just did not catch on very quickly there.
Yeah, they had a lot more 2D games on the PlayStation in Japan as well, a lot of which didn't come to America because Sony of America went really hard in the opposite direction and had a no 2D gaming policy for a little while.
And then Capcom said, if you want Resident Evil 2 on your system, you better let us put Mega Man 8 on the thing.
Yeah, the big name companies were able to strong arm their way past that policy, but a lot of smaller ones weren't able to. So there's quite a few games that we never saw in the West because they were 2D games. So they only came out in Japan and stuff. Which, for the record, I still to this day hold that against Sony, because they were seriously putting their marketing emphasis on 3D games ahead of the creative thing. Now let's see.
Yeah, we got to do more stealth sections, which is Okay, but this area is a little confusing.
You know, I realize this is the origin story, so they haven't had time to learn this lesson yet. But the bad guys really should just keep a distance from floor grading.
I'm surprised everybody has the same brand. Yoink.
This is basically Blackgate Prison Round 2.
You see, they're going back to where it all began, which it's the story because it's a prequel. Yeah.
It's okay. I'm under control.
I kind of got stuck in a no-win situation there.
How hard would you say this game is compared to the other Bat games?
It's well, as we mentioned earlier in the playthrough, they kind of borked up the counter system.
Oh yeah, you were mentioning that.
Well, Lewis was, but yeah.
Yeah, it's the main reason I can't go back to Origins.
Yeah, so it's harder in that regard. Stealth-wise, it's about the same as City. Combat-wise, it's a little bit harder. Arkham Knight is easily the hardest game, and it's kind of unfun as a result. Because, like, as someone who platinumed these 3 games going in tonight, even I found that game hard, and it's like, really?
So it's hard in a not fun way, basically.
They throw the book at you, like, even just playing on normal, they throw the book at you, like, right at the start.
Oh, okay.
I didn't find Arkham Knight that challenging.
No,
These
it's
guys-
tedious, though.
Yeah.
Oh, tedious, yeah, but not necessarily challenging.
Just gonna bonk them off. Bonk. They keep climbing. They keep climbing up here. I'm just gonna keep bonking them off.
Someone's been playing a little Jedi Fallen Order. Just force push everyone
Emphasis on
off
fallen.
cliff.
Yeah. Oh, I've fallen and I can't get up.
And that's pretty much the entire game.
I mean, when a game gives you force push and gives you an upgrade to the to force push that lets you push multiple enemies in one push, the first thing, of course, you're going to do is look for every opportunity to just push the enemies off the cliffs, because it's not like you get anything for letting them die where you can get to the corpse. You don't harvest their bodies for materials or anything. Just push them off the cliff. Let them fall to their deaths.